Hello, hello. Oh yes, we have finally gotten audio. So I do apologise about that. So it should be kicking in fairly shortly. I should have tested that. Uh, I should be hearing myself very, very shortly. Come on, Alan. Talk, mate. Talk. Oh, he'll talk in a minute. I suppose there is a bit of a delay. Okay. All right. Good enough. Whatever. So we've got that tested. Everything's fine. I'm going to remove this earpiece. So we're approximately, what, 20, 30 seconds behind, who cares? Now, going to the Providence. We've got the thrusters to the funnels. We've got the lovely gold going on. Molotov liquid chrome. Alclad clear over that. Oh, it's beautiful. Get a nice close look into that. And some Tamir acrylic. Though I want the rest of the thruster bell to be a different colour. So they're going to be masked up, airbrushed either later on tonight, tomorrow, whenever, removed, cleared, and then weathered with all the other bits and pieces. So we'll quickly cover these up, and then we'll have a little bit of a play around with the resin Victory Gundam. And I want to make sure, because I've just covered up some... Did I lift any paint? No, I didn't. Cool. Must be properly matured and dried by now. So we'll fold that a little bit. Don't want it to clash over where the thruster metallic is. And misalign the mask line. And I think I might have gotten the right locations posted for the stream. So I've got a couple of people jumping in and out. So once we get the right amount of people going, you know, hey, I kind of dig this, we'll have a bit of an audience for the show. No, you know, take your time, no rush. It's still a very new thing, and I barely do 2 hours a week, which is eternity in Twitch land. And we should build up from that. Unfortunately, I'm just crazy time poor, and do quite a bit of modelling away from home, internet and whatnot, just for small sporadic times here and there. They're working on that video and catalogue, which they're not very well made, but the important thing is the information shared in it is the biggest thing that people approve what's going on and interested in contributing to the project. I'll probably talk about it because it's very fresh in my mind. And a lot of people think I've just, you know, sort of pulled this out of nowhere. Truth is, I've been working towards this for a very, very long time. Though, just like when I was doing the ship for the Gunpla Builders World Cup last year, a failure was a huge concern, and I didn't want to screw up, collect money, or make any promises and then not deliver on anything. But at this stage, everything is down pat. It's just a question of making it happen. And I am very, very confident that it will happen. So folding that over made it a tad too thick. Using a lot of tape, but the tape is not so much... it's making the right shape, not so much, you know, guaranteeing coverage or anything. I also have to decide what colours I'm going to use, but I think it might be the Mr. Hobby copper or something. So that will definitely work out. I didn't even intend to do this, and I just remembered, oh, I've got to mask these, and I've got to do this, and I've got to do that. It's about a ton of little jobs, and it's going to be like, well, this is going to take me 2 to 3 hours. there you go, you got to stream, and I didn't even get to do what I intended to do. I was going to stream last night and work on a video, but that just did not happen. I was not feeling well at all. As well as just had a ton of things to do. I'm testing a paint called Alchemy from China, lacquer paint, different properties. It's working really, really well. So throwing that tutorial around, and I need to do a mask test. I did a pigment density test, dark color, a light color, a metallic, the usual things I do when I do my paint tests. What you normally expect when I'm pulling them apart. I've had these sitting on my desk for about 6 months, so it's about time to do that. A lot of the videos I'm filming right now, and soon will be uploaded, are all stuff that is been on the back burner or needed to be done for a very long time. I sort of targeted either really popular things or whatnot, and I've got a lot of other content to be made due really soon. So I need to clear my backlog of video tutorials, that sort of stuff, and then move on some of the newer things I'm working on. Got to get the Providence done. Made this piece way too long, but no, that worked out. Need to get this Providence out of the way. I need to get the Victory out of the way, a few small projects, and I'll have an empty table to just start all sorts of new, interesting and fun things. So I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed. Though after everything that's just happened, it's really crazy on this platform. But the sooner we can move forward, the sooner we can get into just all sorts of activities that I've got planned and to show off and to research and all that. Funnily enough, when I started this channel, I thought I had ideas for about approximately 50 videos, and I thought after that, that's it, that's a catalogue, and that answers almost every question that's required for the hobby, and then do the odd video here and there showcasing builds or cool stuff or any new reviews and whatnot. Funnily enough, like several hundred videos in, and I've just got ambitions to make so much stuff, it's never ever ending. And I don't think I'll ever sit there and go, oh shit, what will I make a video on next? Or, oh, I don't know what to do, or I'm bored, I've run out of ideas. It's just the concepts are forever expanding, and it's also a case of what do I need to focus on and concentrate, and which direction I'm going in before I go in another direction, or do I stay in this current direction? The funny thing is there's so much you can do in modeling, scale modeling, a certain theme modeling, whatnot, that you will never run out of concept to create stuff. And I don't understand that with a lot of Gundam reviewers, everyone is racing to the bottom to be the first to buy X kit, review it, and review it in a system that everyone's doing it in the exact same fashion, the old way that Prime 92 used to do way back in the day. And that's just, it's boring. It's a thing that's been happening since 10 years ago. It's exactly the same now. But there is also a lot of modelers that are, you know, they all do the same tutorial, how to cut off a runner, how to clean a seam line, a few airbrushing bits and pieces. And then after that, you can just go crazy and here's a unique modification and a method of cutting styrene and gluing things together. And here's another cool thing where you can, you know, tackle things from this direction. Once people sort of realize they don't have to copy each other and they can do different things, if you're just a snapper, if you're just a reviewer, if you're just a collector, or if you're a full ball scale modeler, the possibilities are just absolutely endless. Though I suppose when I started, I just thought, you know, these are the 10, 50 videos I need to make, and then that's it, I'm done. And I think once people start jumping into video making and they keep an eye open of making different type of content, they can just change the platform and just be really creative. But who am I to judge? If people enjoy really making those videos, and the audiences are huge for review stuff, being the first to review a video. People are really into collecting in the snap side of things. Though from what I've seen from a few comments, they don't come and watch for the review. A Gundam kit's a Gundam kit, and in the line or series of them, they're all kind of the same, and they can get very boring. People come for the personality of the reviewer and how they do it. And Zach Aurelius, he seems to be really the guy to be capturing it, and is the leader of the bunch and the heap on top. But he does a lot of stuff, and his possibilities are endless. He does do the reviews, but he's a scale modeler, he's a modifier, he's an airbrusher, he's a triple threat. Does absolutely everything, and I could completely respect that. I'm a bit of a mate of his, lovely to converse with. But yeah, that's the sort of thing to strive to. And if he is at the moment the point of inspiration and the sort of content other people want to take as a role model, I can completely stand behind that. And if people are making original content like what he's doing, the future, I used to be very doom and gloom about the state of the community and the kids and all that, but with him at the helm, I think the future's very, very bright. Even what after happened to me in Australia and all that, but we don't have to talk about that. That's really not important in the grand scheme of things. But at the moment, doing the whole streaming things and making model kits from scratch, I might even stream. I'm actually thinking once I get AutoCAD and stuff loaded on the computer, doing a bit like what the video gamers do, but stream the screen and start drawing, sketching by hand, and then jump onto AutoCAD and then start drawing and 3Ding and all that sort of stuff. That might be interesting content for people just to see, the how it all goes. Might have to be a silent thing because I might need to go into the university and do it there, and sort of talking into a microphone while other people are around could be a bit strange. I almost dropped my piece. So yeah, the trick with masking, so I'm masking and I'm not talking about the masking whatsoever. The trick to this is if you get a really long piece to try to get a really long straight line or whatnot, chances of folding, lifting up, gaps, creases, all that increase, and that's just more points the paint can seep under and cause damage. If you do about 100 small pieces overlapping each other, you get a far straighter line, better cut detail, and it's just pretty much superior that less mistakes can occur. And chances are you got no actual open gaps. Especially with working with such a high finish reflective metallic, chrome I should say, yeah, that's not going to be too much of a factor. I got some sort of alarm bell or something, notification. What are we notifying? We've completed 2 achievements, like, whatever, fuck that. Whew. I don't know why audio cut out on me this time. That's just absolutely insane. So, I've masked 2 pieces. We've got 2 more to do, then I can just chuck that aside, and we'll jump on the Victory next. And the cool thing is being able to save the streams and just dump it on YouTube and completely forget about it. A lot of this stuff is just documented and kept, so very lengthy rants or interesting things showed off or something. I suppose if I do really good streams, show off some cool stuff and whatnot, I could just relift that footage, edit it, and create some tutorials or content or something. Or do some highlight reels. That's probably not a bad idea. I could talk about Twitch on YouTube and just take some of the best bits and pieces, like the best of. Download it, comb through it, collect 2, 5, 10 minute nips here and there, chuck it into a compilation and go, here's a ton of, you know, interesting advice and showing shit off and interesting talks and whatnot. That is really not a bad idea, and just recycle that into YouTube. Now, I suppose once I've streamed long enough, I wonder what the policy is of just playing back video and streaming that on Twitch. Because, you know, some of the old really good streams, editing out, you know, the crap shit and then just keeping huge lengthy bits of the good stuff and then just streaming that and recycling it could be a good way of just having, you know, a constant thing of, here's some interesting stuff, some masking, some techniques, some tutorials, some airbrushing, some whatever, some good talks. And people that just discover it can, you know, watch it for a bit and go, ah, yeah, I could come back later and, you know, watch it live and interact with the chat. Get a bit of a bevy on. Should brew some tea too, shouldn't I? Cool thing with a bit of a countdown timer thing, I could see how long it takes when you do certain jobs. And mastering takes forever, like 10 minutes a piece, Jesus Christ. It's such a long, tedious process, and if at any point it makes it interesting or whatnot, well, cool. So yeah, I'll airbrush these tomorrow. So I vaguely remember throwing 2 coats of clear on these, so this shouldn't cause any problems. And then when I do the next thing and then clear that, I could probably weather all the glossy pieces, and that might be a job for tomorrow or Sunday, which would be, oh, I saw something funny. It's a lot of red. That must have been a part of the weathering or something. Doesn't matter. Just thought it got contaminated with some pigment or something. Just noticed something. It was just a little overhanded weathering and a mistake noticed on that kit. Doesn't matter. Awkward silence. It's not a big deal. That's on there. I watched the film tonight. Darkest Hour. Really wanted to watch that for a long time. I love my historical, political dramas, and it was detailing the very opening of World War II. Poland and all that got invaded. France was imminent from being invaded, and the UK was in turmoil on exactly what to do when Winston Churchill came into power as Prime Minister, and his journey of uniting the cabinet as well as Parliament to do what he wants to do of fighting on and defeating the Germans. And he finally came to that conclusion once he started opening up and communicating with the general public and the king. It sort of just all worked out. That was a very, very, very powerful film. It's probably one of the best flicks I've seen in a little while. So that's very much worthwhile checking out. And I want to watch Dunkirk, which watching them side by side, well, not exactly side by side, but close proximity. They're that related to each other. It's made like that. So that's going to be good fun. Tell the truth, I'm actually a bit tired, but I didn't do too much today. I've done virtually nothing yesterday. That tired, but really wanted to do it. I wanted to stream on my days off, and the day I work Sunday, I wanted to stream at least a little bit one day, really like stream a heap, and that just did not work out. Just other things in life just caught up and jumped in. So you have intentions and they never get fulfilled. Getting closer to finishing the masking job. So again, small pieces, little areas, just taking your time. Masking is a job that you really really can't rush. The more quality work, the less mistakes you made, the less you have to invest later in cleaning up and whatnot. I can't understand people who do commissions and mask in those commissions. Like heavy, crazy, insane masking like this sort of masking. It would have been better just to leave it the same colour though. And trust me, when I masked this thing, yeah, Jesus Christ, this was crazy. You'll see it in the work in progress and whatnot. There is some colour separation, and there's a lot of part that is not separatable. And that was something like four bloody layers of masking. 4 different crazy colours. Absolutely did my head in. But that project has been in the making for more than a year now. So coming to a conclusion, I'm very, very happy about that. And talking about conclusion, I'm almost finished masking these silly pieces. So I'll be able to put these aside. They can get weighed. Well, they can wait for painting, which I assume will happen tomorrow. And everything gets weathered probably except for these pieces. And they could be weathered, the very next day or something. A couple of layers of clear, and the whole assembly working on the next collection of parts. Though I've really slowed down on this project, there's not a lot to share in the work in progress. I need to speed this up if I want to make the June deadline. Though, to tell the truth, because I'm sort of ho-hum about the competition it's entering, if it doesn't make it, doesn't make it. Who cares? It doesn't have to go on public display or a competition or anything like that. I've sort of completely gotten over on 4-star group builds and small online comps and communities and all that sort of thing. Really, it's good. It's great for exposure and all that sort of thing. If you're an up and starting modeler trying to get attention and all that sort of thing, amazing for that. And by no means am I saying that this sort of stuff is beyond me, though I'm just a tad tired of it. Done it for too long, supported a lot of communities, and unfortunately throwing support behind the wrong communities does get you screwed over. So these 3 are all done. I can paint the black areas with bronze or copper or whatever. I'm going to do a little weathering and soot and burnt iron in the holes. Weather that up all beautifully. And that should give it some very interesting definition. So chucking it all on a Mr. Paint Station. I'll put a bit of glue on the side there. And get a tad of work done on Mr. Victory. So I need some cotton buds. Some cotton buds. Some Q-tips. That's a good point. Where is my provenance? It should fall somewhere or something. That should have been left here unless no, it's on a skewer because I put a clear coat on it. I can see it from here, so that's good. I almost panicked because I thought I lost it. Okay. I need to put some to strengthen that leg a bit. It's ever so slightly loose, so if we have some glue absorb into that, and it'll go clear, should tighten things up a bit, and it's not very well seen where it can be seen. And putting glue there was a bit silly, so I'll get a bit of old sandpaper there, pour a bit more glue. And that's a good quantity of glue. So today we're going to glue the feet on, and we'll do a bit of a test for the arms and then leave it at that. So first we'll stick the feet in, make sure that looks good, and make sure they're the correct orientation. And it stands on its own. That's cool. Just want to flip the feet around and just see how it looks the other way around, which will probably be silly. No, it's definitely the other way around. This way around. Cool. So we'll put a bit of glue down the holes. That would be the best way to do it. Nice healthy dosage. And then we'll put both feet together. Put it down. Put it somewhere to dry. A bit more for the leg. So just smooth that away. Hope it doesn't drip. It's about to drip a bit, so spread it out a bit. The other side's not as bad. Find the hole. See, there's a way that I could just have it upside down like this and let it dry. That would be perfect. So that's where we go. And I think that's it. No more. What I've learnt from Matt Mosaic, brilliant resin modeler. Did a lot of Gundam stuff. Now he's doing things like superheroes and Hellboy and all that sort of stuff. You take your time with the assembly. That's when you can ruin all your hard work and the paint and all that sort of thing. I am not really rushed to have this finished. I've just put that much work in it. I want it to be perfect when it's done. And I'll hold it a bit closer to the camera. We've got a viewer. And yeah, this is a 1/72 Victory Gundam absolute brick resin kit. Weathered, painted, assembled, cleaned, masked. There was a lot of masking that needed to be done because the color separation was absolutely terrible. And you can see that there's weathering and definition and panel lines and all that sort of thing. It's all pinned together. Some parts pre-assembled and super glued. Other parts are just pinned, glued. And what I'm gluing it together is with PVA wood glue, which may sound insane at first, though if the pin goes in deeper enough and if the fitting is really good, it just needs something tiny to bond it together. PVA glue dries clear and it doesn't affect or damage the paintwork or anything like that. Super glue has a tendency of frosting up, builds texture. Epoxy melts through dry paint and all that thing. PVA glue is just absolutely perfect. So we've got the feet on, we've tightened the leg a bit, we've got two arms, and the next time we come together, we'll look at the arms. Now the legs, I didn't pin them very well together whatsoever, and they just wouldn't stay put. So they were thickened with PVA glue and a final layer of super glue. But the super glue is sitting on where the PVA glue is being thickened. So it's holding quite a nice strong bond, and a little more PVA glue just to stiffen it up. And here is the other arm. There's hand painting, there's airbrushing, there's whatnot. You can see the shading. The arm on the side, the red bit is quite dark, but then it's lighter. It's the whole modulation. So when you look at it in different angles, there's just different shades of white and grey. There's different shades of red and dark red. I'm calling this, that's as much work I'm doing this on tonight. Step by step. Again, I've been working on this thing for more than a year. So I can't wait to have that reviewed, finished, all that sort of thing. These have been masked up. I've been playing with these for about half an hour, so that's going to be airbrushed. What we're going to do now is Deco Work. So you'll have to excuse me for a couple of minutes as I grab the bits and pieces. Before I do that, I will need to do a little work on this scratchable gun, which is very, very good. I've been building this on the road. It's using a 1.64D machine gun and the Providence gun, and you can see there's a lot going on, a little more detail than your standard Gundam stuff. Gundams, when you're building something as heavy duty as perfect grade, master grade, all that sort of stuff, the weapons and accessories just lack details and gimmicks and stuff. So I really put a lot of focus onto this, and it just looks a lot more interesting, even if it's just going to be that one color. So once we're done with decaling, I'm going to put a little bit of effort into this guy. I'll put him aside, put the instructions bit, I'll put this away, keep this, 2 seconds. And I'm going to get some water, so just 2 more seconds. And we're back. My apologies. Whoops. A little bit on the table. Not a big deal. Oh, yeah, just got enough. Screw it. Just put a bit of dirty water. Yeah, that made up for it. Having a look at that, yeah, there's a ton of decals in this bad boy. We've got them all sorts of different interesting contours and whatnot. The clear coat makes it that little bit more shiny, a little bit more glass-like. Keep you there. That's where the water action goes. The dry bit here, you can go there. I think we'll keep you on the skewer just to make it a little easier to handle. And I want to do more decals on the face today. So we'll go very face heavy. And we've actually got some decals here for dark areas. Now, if I remember correctly, how was I meant to do this? The red ones I was going to use, the dark ones I was going to use like down the panels there. Or was I? Like underneath. The red ones I do remember, that I'm going to use. But, yes. Those ones, these 4 are going to be used on the head. And these 6 are going to be used on the torso. And this one as well, these little crosses. So what we'll do is we'll apply these decals that we already have plans for first, and then we shall cut up some more decals. You can already tell this sheet. I cut a huge slice off and already used it plastered all over the torso. So that is very, very amusing. So these are the head ones first. I used the scissors a long time ago to cut some milliput putty. And these decals say something about panzers. Tanks. Having something panzer related on this gives it a slight German flair to it. So that's kind of cool. But I don't think anyone's going to be reading the text on the secondary V-fin. The idea is to give it an almost tribal tattoo look of just over-decaling it. You think something on the lines of version Katoki that's even more decals. It's going to be absolutely crazy. I do like the look where there's a ton of decals. So I'm just going to push that a little further than normal and see where that takes us. I haven't used these decals before or in for a long time. Some decals take a while to soak up, transfer and apply. Other decals practically do it in seconds. Have a look at the source. And we shall have these in these orientation. I like to have it in the orientation that it's going to be applied in the water. So there's no thinking. You have to pull out, slide across, slide on, adjust, done. All the thinking and the planning happens a little bit ahead. I got these really cool, almost Knight Templary markings that I could put underneath near the armpits, where it has a bit of crackling and imperfections going on there. So you put a big decal, kind of hides it, looks better. Okay, Sarah, awesome sauce. And the idea is to have, decals all over the shop and nothing really at the back, so it won't be that visible. So I think we could definitely pull that off, and there'll be, in some cases, decals on decals and all that jazz. As we're talking a bit too much, we can wetten the surfaces slightly where we're applying these decals. Pull it out of the water by stabbing the paper with a knife. And it should just slide straight on my finger, except there's not a lot of slide action going on. These are probably old, or the glue's not soaked through yet. Sorry, the water has not completely soaked through the paper activating the glue. All sorts of reasons. I found the new decals I'm using react immediately. Sometimes cheap decals don't react quickly. Sometimes the glue dries out and needs more water to activate, so it can just slide off. You just want it to slide off like wet plastic on paper. If it takes a bit of convincing, you risk tearing the decal if it's very, very fine. Let's pick her up. Try again. Nope. We'll try the other markings, because I don't remember if they're from the same sheet or not. They probably are, but these have been soaking for a tad longer. No, I'm not going to risk it. These are fairly unique writing and shapes. Play it absolutely safe. Chuck it on the right surface. Since we're going in the symmetrical line of things, we really do not want to mess that up. These Knight Templary things, I don't know what they go are. They're old. They're going to take ages to soak. So what I might do is chop them up now and add them. These are official Gundam decals, so they should not take a long time whatsoever. At any stage, if you guys are at a computer or something, and jump on the chat, I am frequently looking over there. Only if you feel inclined. If you don't want it, that's cool, not a problem. If you have any questions, you want something shown off, explained, topic change, more than happy to entertain that. Now, if you're happy just me rambling on about what I'm currently doing and just other things that are just at the very top of my mind, that's completely cool as well. Pardon me. While we got this out, may as well have some tissue on standby to wipe up excess water. We'll see about that soon, unless you guys watched the last stream where I literally sat there and deckled for 2 hours straight, only this torso. And we're going to be deckling this torso for another 2 bloody hours. Let's have a look. Any movement? These decals are crazy. Now, it's only these 4, 6 decals or whatnot that's going to be really stuck. The rest are quite quick. So, again, I don't mind if these take for a while. We can focus on other things. Let's have a look at the Knight Templary ones. Oh, that slid straight off, and it's already on my thumb. So, we wet the area we want it. There are some already decals on here, but that was from the last session. There was a couple of layers of clear coat applied. Oh yeah, there was a couple of layers of clear coat applied. And there we go. It's like the St. Andrew's Cross or something. A couple of layers of clear, so they're very well protected. And then I could put more decals almost practically overlapping each other, and then they could be protected. And if I keep my fingers on these little bits, why did that just jump off then? That was scary. And let that dry a bit. Cool. So that's on there. And I could see the other one's already pretty loose. And put that on the other side. That's a bit too loose. I'm very worried. The best thing about this decal tray is, like a deep fryer, it just pops out like that. So there's no water, it's not going to get lost, it's not going to slide around. And I let that soak for far too long. I do apologise, if decaling's not your thing, this is probably not your stream, but I'll do different things for different streams. The season's decaling, so a couple of them are going to be on decaling. And then in future there'll be things like scratch building and all sorts of stuff. So don't think that decaling is just going to be the future flair. Oh, that is just so not sticking well. As soon as that dries, that will grip a little bit better. So it is a military decal, it's non-Gundam. It'll soak up the water, so it's going to be convinced to dry. You don't want to put the whole tissue along the decal, because that could just pick it up, or the moisture on the tissue, that could pick up the decal, and it just absorbs all the moisture, folds and collapses itself into the tissue. So yeah, we've got this, lovely cross thing going on, and that's kind of cool. Probably put a bit of the warning decal right next to it, and yeah, that's how the pickle rolls, I suppose. And we'll try to get a good 50 or so decals on it. So back in the water, these are for troublesome military pieces. Get them in the right orientation again. Pick it up. starting to get a bit of movement. So if I put a little water on my fingers, give it a bit of convincing. Yes! We've got one lifted. And we're going to chuck this one on the fin here. So we'll have a bit of white text on a gunmetal-ish surface. We just have to convince it to stick like so. Now we've got some tiny writing going on a V-fin. And I was pleased that I did that. That looks alright. Look at that. That's cool. Put you there. Pick up the other one by knife. We've got people coming in and out of the chat. That's well, not the chat, in the room. That's really that's I'm tripping over words when I focus on decals. That's really encouraging. So yeah, thanks for taking the time to have a quick look. And we're going to just put a little pressure. Cool. And we shall let that sit there. It will naturally dry with time. And then it shall be clear coated and whatnot at a later date. But for now, we've got two more little white decals to go. Military decals, very difficult to apply. Not all military decals are difficult to apply. Just these ones are being a bit of a pain for me because they're pretty old. They were on a half cutout set. I think I bought them from the Swap or Sell or something like that. And this one is kind of a bit hard to reach. Yes, and it magnetized itself on. Well, magnetize is not the right word, but it's sort of like that. Or putting it on an angle like that and just looking like mechanical detail is just really popping. So that's kind of cool, though. If I rotate it, should look a little better. Yeah, that looks a lot better. And this thing's just going to have crazy amounts of detail just through Deco Work. So that's alright, but there might need to be a little more white decals going across there and underneath, or maybe not, because I'll be putting some red decals across the V-fin, and there needs to be some more around, pardon me, don't want to put anything on the mouth, but it'll be like on the sides and all over the place. It's going to be another 20 decals going all around there. So we've got to change the orientation of the last one in here and pick her up. Slide. Slide's beautiful now, so at no point you really have to like rush it or anything. And it's just such a difficult spot to apply. Put a little bit more water and just hope it just magnetizes or sticks or atomizes to that water. Starting to like float a little too close to my fingernail. That's a little worrying. So we'll push it a bit. Come on, stick, stick. What are you doing? And it's just moving around my finger. So I'm going to be quiet for a few seconds just to transfer it. It's starting to get a bit dry. I'm getting a bit worried. I might put a little water on there, and of course it just transfers across, transfers again. That wasn't too bad. Stick, stick, damn you, stick fucking. It's a good shape. Ah, fuck. Came off the thing. Nothing got damaged. Stay the fuck away from my fingernail. Why is it being so much trouble? Now, when it's being this much trouble, there's other ways around it. Now, what I'm going to do is slide the knife underneath the decal, so it's free floating, and just let it attach itself. Yes! Should have done that a bit earlier, but that's alright. Swing it around. The more you play with decals, the better you get. And when you do one of these projects where there's just 100 decals or so, you just get even better. So that's on there. I think I might put another 10 decals around the place. Call this one quits, and top coat it. Focus on that another day. We are going to chop up these 6 decals. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, there's an extra one there, but I roughly know where I was thinking of adding that, so that's okay. Bit of projection of decal placement. So as I'm cutting, I'm thinking where I'm going to place them, if they have a purpose there, if it's going to look good there, where, you know, people leave mechanical notes and all that sort of thing. Even though this is a candy finished model, I almost dropped that. But where the fuck did the rest of it go? Yeah, it's stuck on the back of my blade. Even though this is a candy finished kit, I want it to have the appearance of being rustic, a little bit of weathering, a little bit of paint chipping. It's been flying through space. It's been in a couple of battles, even though untouched because it's like one of these god-killing machine things that you see in Seed and all that. It still gets roughed up because it might have fought another Gundam or crushed about 30,000 grunts or whatever Gundams in space do. I don't know. I haven't seen this show in like 10 years or something. The Seed one, like, you know, I saw the other ones like the Iron-Blooded Orphans or whatever more recently. Oh, my fingers are just not working at the moment. Now, there is a ton of moisture on the table, so when I go in the next decals, I'm definitely going to have to wipe it up a bit when I put all the fresh stuff down, as to not to damage a large amount of decals. When there's the slightest amount of moisture in the paper, and the paper absorbs it up, that activates the glue, and that glue cannot really activate dry. It's going to be harder to use, and really old decals, when they're not in plastic, absorbs the water in the air, and the glue becomes less efficient, and it takes longer for the paper to soak up the water, transfer the glue, and go on the surface. A lot like those white decals we were mucking around with a little while ago. So I put 3 in at a time, soak them up, transfer them. These are Bandai decals, but I haven't messed with these Bandai decals for a while. Should transfer fairly quickly. Then we'll go to the upgrade kit and the HQI parts, and they're really quick, so we won't be doing that for too long as well. Wow, 4 viewers. That's the most I've had in a little while. I must have applied to the right chats or something. So that is still a bit dry. That is not transferring, moving, or anything. Put that down, let it soak through for a bit. As we said, for being Gundam decals, when I'm using one type of decals, I just get the feel for it and I can motor through it super easy. And then I move to a different kit and I'm using a different type of decals, and it just reacts differently, and I forget how the old decals work, and I'm reacting to how the new decals operate. Oh. While we're waiting, I'll show you something cool. So this is the paint set, Alchemy. And this will be the set where I've done the pigment density. Black, primer grey, white. And it's pretty good. It reacts really well to primed surfaces. Bare plastic, it doesn't spread out as smooth and nice as butter. And the black area, you can see the weakness where it's sprayed thicker and it's more yellow, and later on the black is starting to pierce through. This is better pigment density than most hobby paints. though it's not the best. That will come out in the review. Bloody good paint. And it etches on really well. You can almost use it as a primer yourself, but it's no actual primer. Alright, so that's all done and good. Pick that up. And that transferred. This is on a really difficult spot to apply. So put the knife. The knife's a very tricky method to do. Right there. Get the spot just right. Bit of paper, because as soon as I'm done with the stream, I'm going to chuck a gloss clear on it, as so the decals get some protection. And when you look at it in certain directions, you'll be able to see this huge information tag on the gunmetal. Well, it's actually burnt metal, but you know, whatever. If you keep a secret, I'll keep a secret. Alright, so put a little bit of water there. And we'll put a little bit of water there. And that's where the red warning signs will come into play. They should have soaked quite sufficiently. Fuck. It's gotten stuck in the deep fry style grill. So I'm going to pull these out of the water. Again, this is the trumpeter or wave decal sheet. It depends on where you bought it. If you buy it in Australia, America, it's going to have trumpeter. If you buy it in Japan, Asia, it'll have wave. It's going to have wave embossed in the plastic no matter which version you buy. If you do a lot of decals, it is worth every bloody cent. Interesting, on the other side is also red. So yeah, there you go. It's on a clear thing. Ooh, this is pretty big. We've got to go right on the edge and a little lower, little more lower. Yeah, that does it. That looks good. That's interesting. And another decal can go above, so that works up. That could be a bit of a build-up, but that would go on the next session. So that works. You got this big red thing. Though at the same time, if I just pick it up, transfer it, and just put it here, it might do better there. Yeah, that's way better. It's more suitable. We can have something smaller there. So that really stands out well. So where I originally projected it just did not work out. You know what? That's alright, doesn't matter. Fuck, it's upside down. Shit, fuck. I wasn't meant to swear. Oh well. It's decals. I think it's expecting that a couple of cuss words would come out. Curse words, whatever. You know, it's like, oh, kids are watching and stuff, you know. Like, kids shouldn't be on the internet. Ha! And that's looking cool. Done. Bit of paper because that's a big decal. I want that to dry nice and solid. There we go. Straighten it. It's so tiny. And you can see, as I'm rotating this thing around, you can see the modifications, how there's so much excess armor chopped up and the inner frames showing off. And you've got little holes here and there and whatnot. And had a lot of fun just playing. And then it just segregates the gold. And it's very, very playful modeling. So I could probably put a decal there, some more decals around, decal there. It's starting to sound ridiculous now. Little circle ones underneath the pipe work. My work is definitely cut out, but these four, what's next? Fuck. So we'll just chuck these on the thick areas. And these are going on the gunmetal-y areas. There we go. And for people that are coming and going, as always, if you have anything burning on your mind, a question, want to know something about the hobby, got a bit of a problem like I do on my Q&As, just shoot us a line and we'll very happily entertain it and see how I can help. These are British Armoured Decal markings. So some of these I think could look really, really cool around the place. I'm going to go for some red bars. I can see 2 points. I can put red bars. So I might grab some triangles or something else. These are Canadian markings, and Canadian markings I'm not too fussed about. I'll have another look. So 2 small markings, 2 small markings. Where was I going to put the big markings? I can see a ton of places I could put the small markings, but... Oh yeah, 2 big markings. 2, 4 small markings. And some triangles. Sounds good. So, these are just red squares. The red square. And look, another one popped out too. Multiple. Oh, these must have been the wargaming sets or something like that. Oh, well, whatever. We'll use the Canadian ones because I don't see myself doing any Canadian armour. Not that I'm anti-Canadian or anything. Canada's history is very cool. And they're very known for troop activity and in very difficult areas, stormtrooping, forests, mountains, hard to get to places, artillery guns. So I just don't know much about Canadian tank history, what they've achieved in that sort of run of things. So I'm very, if I did figures, I'd be, doing some of the World War One Canadian stuff. But in the way of Second World War tanks, whatever the Canadians used, the Australians used. I would, if there was an option to use Australian markings, I'd be more inclined to do that. Now let's have a look at these white decals that have been soaking for a bit, as we're chopping just red random blocks. This one's a bit of a struggle. This thing is just covered in so many decals, I'm afraid of what's wet, what's not. And even though I barely applied anything, I can't really assume, so I can't touch up areas. Yeah, that looks cool. Ooh. Oh no, it didn't. This one didn't really. I kind of forced that one a bit. The other two I'll give a couple of more minutes. Ooh, I touched that in a no spot. That's alright. Shit. Okay, and then I'll just reposition that. There we go. Yeah, that looks interesting. That really stands out. all sorts of engineering markings and whatnot. It's a bit strong, but whatever. It looks cool. Let's have a quick inspection of the head. And as soon as we're down to the big red markings, and we cut up some text, we'll do a ton on the head, a couple on the body, and it's clear coat time. Time check, an hour, not too shabby. Not feeling tired or sore throaty or anything like that. Okay. Need to get a bit of water. Those two fins. There we go. So much more deckling to do. Absolutely insane. Bit of drying. Slightly move it. Oops. Almost slid off completely. There we go. Touch it by the hand joints. And then we put it down. Last decal. Very, very interesting. This thing is just going to be decal mad. I think I can put my finger there safely because I'm not going to put much on the inside except for the two very edge, and the rest will be all external stuff. Though there's a little spot there, and out of the British tank set stuff I've got, I think I could put an interesting diamond there or something. Yeah, let's have a relook at the diamond. Oh yeah, yellow one. Got these strange South African division diamonds. I don't want to use blue or green. That's going to just add extra colours to the mix that has just never been incorporated in the scheme. That's bad colour theory. There is the tiniest amount of green around the triangle, though I don't think that's enough colour that's going to cause any issue whatsoever. So, got an idea for that. And we'll put the other triangles. I haven't actually soaked any of these wargaming ones, but since they're fairly recent, I don't think they're going to be much issue. And that will be it for now on the wargaming ones. Though they may come out for larger areas like the gun, or... Yeah, the gun's going to be a lot of white decals, so I'm going to have to dig up some more white decals for them. And just all the bits of gold is going to be all red writing. And I reckon it would just be funny to... it'd be funny just to use this whole set on the whole thing. Though generally the torso is going to be the biggest concentration of decals, and as it pans out, it'll be a little, less sparse. That goes there. That goes there. Try my knife. And chop up these little bastards. Oi, why aren't you cutting? There we go. And there's the slightest amount of moisture in my fingers, so the decals are sticking, they're causing problems. There we go. So that's all good and done. Test the stickiness. Doesn't really want to fly too much. That's cool. Put the two big ones in. And as we use some, we'll put more in. And then I'll be able to use the real decals. And just keep going on this ballistic model. Oh my, oh my, oh my. There's something a bit funny in there. What is that? Is that a bit of damage? No, it just came off. Let's investigate. What is that? That's a bit of metal. No, it's gone now. I don't want that being stuck on this. Oh, no, it might have been a glue flake. That's what it could have been. That's alright. Let's check that's okay. Give it another 30 seconds or so. Oh, got to remember where I'm applying the triangle. I may as well slightly wet in the area that it's going to go. It's going to be right on this metal bit here. Just to add that little detail. So when it's looked from afar, there's just going to be all this crazy stuff to draw the eye all over the place without actually looking really, really close or anything. It's going to be absolute decal overload. So that's all good and fine. Green triangle, and it came off smoothly and beautifully. Put the knife underneath it. Pick her up without disturbing anything. And then we need to get the orientation right. There we go, that's pretty cool, but we just need the tip facing up. Excellent. Dab tiny bit of tissue on it. Soak up the surplus water. And she is good. That's an interesting piece of detail. So we could start putting these 4 decals in the water. And they can soak. And now we can do the British triangles. They're such generic shapes. They're not really that... whoops. She just fell in. They're really not that noticeable. It's not like someone can look at it immediately and go, aha, that's World War II. Okay. Now these are also going in a really... I think the point of this decal session is just getting decals in really hard to get areas. Oh, I know why it was such trouble. These are not pre-cut. Fuck! So put it down on there. Pick it up. Shit, I did not know that. Now, pre-cut. That's something to completely talk about. As soon as I get this to stick. Okay. Isn't this a fiasco and 3/4? Right, that works. Different orientation to what I wanted, but whatever. Now the rest of them are tiny, though I think some of them I need to pick them up, need to clean it up, and then need to apply. Okay. Being very careful where I grab the model. See the orientation. And this thing is almost folded in on itself, but it did not, so that's good. Cool! That just slid into place perfectly, even though it was slightly oversized. but it just the paper just got it. Well, not the paper. The decal strip just somehow glided into place nicely. So we got the big marks. So put that down. We do a bit of cutting, a bit of surgery. Slice. Whoa! What the fuck happened? Did it tear? Did it break? That was not meant to do that. I completely fucked that decal up. See if I can rescue it. And I kind of did. Crazy, I know. That is some insane surgery that I just did there. Okay, touch of water. No, it looks good like that. I did not intend it to be like that. There you go. Absolutely unintentional. So we'll cut this one in half. The other half I will find it useful. Okay, slice, slice, slice. Now I've got two halves of this decal. Pick up, slide. And chuck her on the corner here. Come on, you bastard. Oh shit, don't fold on this. Well, I got two, so I can afford to mess up one, but I do not want to do that. I'll definitely remember again that these are not pre-cut. That's cool. And for the last one, it's not going to be noticeable, but I'll chuck it there anyway. Wait, I'll see if there's any other good spots. Ooh, that would be cool. Cool. Where is it? There you are. Okay. Yeah, that's kind of cool. But it's not sticking to nuts. Get a bit of water. And hopefully that gives it a bit of sticking property. Which it does. And there you go. I hope these decals stay in place because they're just very, very fragile. You have to give them a maximum amount of time to dry before the airbrushing. Now, these bastards, they have to be pre-cut further. Cool. And yeah, of course, I pull it out before I even consider where it's going. Well done, Alex. Decal one. Aha. Yeah, cool. That looks alright. Sweet. Decal number 2, a big one. It doesn't matter if a big one goes there or not. Two small ones can go there, I think. Yeah, whatever. Fuck it. starting to lose my patience. And because I've got patience issues, I don't think I'm going to apply that many decals tonight. Just a couple to prevent any damage. So we'll call this a quicker decal segment. But I've got some other things to do, so that's not a big deal. We might only cut like 2 strips, no circles. So we've got a bunch of circles on this already. Save the circles for other areas. Come on, transfer across. So next week, I'm going to do my GBWC video on the rules. So I believe the rules are out now. Oh, yeah, that looks awesome. That works. It's a nice red square there. These red squares are cool. Yeah, I'll cover the GBWC rules and whatnot. One that I've noticed is they're really not smiling upon decals, which is a shame. So if it doesn't come with the Gundam kit or scheme for the Gundam kit, which you don't see a lot of markings in the animations, guess they don't really want to see it in the competition. So you're trying to imitate the animations. A little moisture. Not doing damage to other decals. Nana. Come on. So yeah, we'll do something quick about if you haven't built your model or planning for your model or started your model, just a few things to consider to give yourself a bit of an advantage. From experiences of entering past competitions. I think I've teared this decal ever so slightly. No, it slid into place. No, I did tear it. Oh. Cool, I've got it symmetrical. Now not touch it because it's torn and it's been pushed back into each other. So that works. We'll let that sit there for a bit, and that's all decals used up so far of all the weird stuff. Not the main decals that we are operating with. So we're going to wipe up the workstation of spilt water and moisture and all that garbage, and work up on getting more decals, and just keep going with this silly idea that we have going for this thing. Tribal tattoo look of just a ton of decals and decals on decals, or decals side by side, but just doing that in one go is going to be near impossible, some of these difficult shapes and contours and whatnot. So a case of all the details and contours. So it's a case of you put a few, clear coat, let it dry, and then you can handle it. None of the decals get damaged. Some of the bigger decals. Yeah, I'll cut a couple of these thicker circular ones out. That could be interesting. So first, we'll cut ourselves. This is the quality plastic this thing's wrapped in. The designs are cool as hell. lot of markings. So get the scissors, and we'll cut ourselves only 2 rows. Can't remember how many we did last time. And 2 rows of the skinny one. Yes, that works, that works, that works. Put that down. So we're only using that amount. And the sheet ever so slightly gets smaller and smaller. And I'm already starting to see how I'm going to use some of them. I want to use some of the bigger ones actually on the head. So we did quite a bit on the head, some on the torso. I think next time, like, some of these smaller ones will be focused on the torso and a lot of the funny edges and whatnot. And we'll get some HIQ decals in. Now, what do I want is... I might take one big circle and just put it on the chest around the writing and whatnot. That would be interesting. So one big circle. We could cut 2 of these big ones out. I could probably go into the armpit. And... ooh. How pointy is that? Too pointy. I'll take 2 of these for the top. I was going to barely use any of these circular ones, start getting a ton of ideas for the circular ones. I think that's going to be... no. Might have solved this problem in trying to fill space. And we'll take 2 of these big ones. These Dunbar thingies. One more peak. Yep, that's it. For the circular ones, and surprisingly very big ones. Now, where the fuck did... there it is. And we'll chuck her back in the container. To protect it in case anything was to happen. So do the big stuff first. Cut up all the small stuff and then add that later. Can't believe with all the space already covered, there's space for the big decals. It's not a big biggie. Not a big biggie at all. So yeah, those are in there. Those are on top. These are all practically on the torso, so we'll get rid of these first. And then we'll smash all the smaller stuff. And these should look pretty interesting. Put this big circle on, which would be decals upon decals. That's alright. I've got no problems with some decals overlapping each other. I can see I've knocked one slightly out of whack. Ooh, and it's dried out of whack too. That's too out of whack. Fuck. And let those dry again. That's not too bad. A little spider. That's gone now. Okay. Let's see if she's all loose and stuff. Yes. This is a big one. Slides on the finger fine, so that's alright. I was going to just slide it directly across the model. Not a big deal. And plaster right there. Whoa! That actually looks kind of cool. Slightly adjust. And we're kind of lagging a bit. No, we'll stop lagging. Might have only been my end, so that's alright. So there we go, got a bit of a circle there, and that builds just a tiny bit more definition, more something to focus on the eye right on the tip. And we can pick up these two shit flips, that's alright, bastards. I'll take this out of the water so it's not being too much of a bed. Get this slightly on the edge. Put that there. See if I can slide it without holding. Oh yeah. If I could just... No, not quite. Wish I had a third hand. Yes! That was seamless. Adjust it, and there we go. Another decal on the side. Get the other one. That was a very difficult place. Instead of putting 3-4 decals, it's the one big decal. Saves on so much effort. Okay, a bit of an edge going on. Oh, come on, don't be a bastard. Cool. And there's wet decals. Oh yeah, that worked. And we pulled the decal paper. Yes! That was some serious tricky decaling. I've got to refresh this thing. It's just being a tad crashy, but I think that's only my end. If it's not, then I apologise. I've been up here for about an hour and 30 minutes, so that's not too bad. Alright, so that's cool as. There could be another small decal or two applied there later. Some on the inside, that's not a problem. Now we could put it on top of the two side things, and two under the armpits. So the last of the circular decals for the night. There might be, there'll be a few more later, overlapping stuff and just thickening writing stuff and whatnot. So they're so thin, they can actually work in tangent with writing. Got these little dumbbells and whatnot. And I'll start chopping up what I want to use for the head. And I'm already seeing potentially where I would like stuff, so that's cool. I think I'll focus on the inner head a lot. couple on the outer, on the V fin. Most of these might actually go on the head, so that would be cool as hell. Sweet. Sip of drink. And again, stabbing the paper, the tip of the knife. Not quite. And the stream just doesn't seem to be too happy. But at least on my end though, I'm going out, it's coming in. Yeah, it is what it is. And we drop something. Nah, doesn't matter. Give it about 30 seconds. Stall, stall, stall. And we pick up. We'll pick up the other one. That one's been in the water just for a fraction longer. And it slides beautifully off. So we have a look on this side of the world. Chuck it on the edge, and that looks good there. I'm missing some paper, so we get the tissue, soak up the excess water. And there's going to be a lot more writing and other garbage around. And those side dumbbell decals just make me so happy. So this is starting to thicken up a bit, and it's partially giving me the look that I'm after. And the decals are flowing beautifully. I think tonight, unlike the last time, tonight the decal gods are definitely on my side. As I said that, no, this doesn't want to come off my finger. There we go. Decal gods are truly on my side. I'm using the knife, being very gentle not to tear the decal, because it's just that perfect amount of slidiness. If it wasn't so perfect, it could cause some trouble once sharpness and force is applied. The knife's kind of on the blunt side, so it's kind of a bit meh, whatever. Not a big deal. Cool. Cool, 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 cool. And the two dumbbells. It goes right on top. I exactly know where these are going. Up. Wipe. Down. Oh, dude, it almost completely stuck down. There's just that tiniest bit stuck to my flesh. And that's an interesting look. Let's pull it back a bit so they're not going over, the circles aren't going over panel lines. And it could take another circle, which could be done later. It could be nothing but circles on the top. That could be very, very, very cool. It's a series of circles, some joined, some not joined. That is something I can definitely get behind. Cool. Whew. And the more decals we get on this thing, the more I get a little worried of disturbing other decals. And that's at the point where we know we can stop. Just collect the tiniest bit of water so we can really contour nicer. Quick inspection, making sure the major players and decals are where they're supposed to be. Nothing's fallen off, nothing's gotten damaged. Everything's looking good. And that can go down for the meantime. So now, I'm going to focus on the head a bit. And what I want to do is I want to put a big decal here and here. And probably two along there. And a couple on the side, a couple on the V fin. So that's a lot of decals. think I'll already take these 4. And that'll be the 4 decals we mess with. There's a few small ones. The small ones can be scattered on the body, but we'll just get as much as we can on the face. I want to get nothing on the face. Clean face and just all over the head and helmet. And so that way if the face is clean, it just draws the eye to it. It gives it more to look at. As impressive as the candy is, it kind of makes the bits plain. So with all the decals, that just really adds something to the mix. It breaks it up quite a bit. Cool. Chuck these in the water, and we'll wet in the areas that we need to get wet. If I sort of give up, I'll keep the decals quite chunky, so it could just be played with tomorrow. We'll do some more decaling tomorrow. We'll do some decaling on Sunday. And that should really, really beautifully bulk up the body with effects. Get a Q-tip. It's not stuck to each other. Start wetting the areas we really want to get to. I'm seriously touching up with some hard to reach areas, so it gets like that because all the easier areas has probably already been played with. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2. There's going to be a ton of decals on the V-fin. I reckon the decals on the V-fin is going to be cool. Just, it's something I've never really seen before. Decals on the V-fin. I reckon that's going to be cool. Okay, so I reckon I put it on the top. Like that. And then just slide it where I need it to go. And I saw a better spot for it than I originally was going to put it, so I'm going to put it there. So yeah, there you go. It didn't even go originally where I was going to go. I actually found a way better home for it. What do you know? What do you know? It's just weird how that happens, isn't it? And that was some crazy distance to stab a decal and drag it. I guess something like this has never been done on Twitch before. I don't think it's very, very exciting viewing. Alright. So, what the fuck's that? That's weird. Let's see if we can remove it. Found some weird crap on the model. Wait, no, that wasn't meant to go there. Though that's a cool spot for a decal too. It's meant to go here. Let's see what I got, and I could put something similar there. I've got these big ones, and I've got more big ones. So the next 2 big ones can go there. Picked up. I'll take the tray out as to not overly soak that decal. And it's just so weird to put a decal over a decal, but the decal's clear. Well, it's got clear coat, so it's not really a lucid decal. Alright. Jesus, this is insane. It's folding in on itself. Nah, stretched it out, saved it. There we go, got practically a whole novel written on the head of this bloody thing. Whoa, that looks awesome! Sweet! Very, very cool. I've got to check that the black decals are all there. Excellent. This one. I'll pick you up, sir. Oh, don't fall off already. Okay, so that's for that side. This is for this side. Transfer across. Raise it a bit higher. Check the other side for continuity. Beautiful. And let's get another big decal on it. So another 2 big decals. And there's no more big decals for where I originally was going to put things. But those work really, really well. I think 2 small decals for the very back, which I can see that. 2 big decals for the top. And then that's that. And I've got 4 decals for these 2 bits. 2 for there, maybe another 2 for there. Yeah. So all the big decals are taken for. The spot for 2 little decals. And I might have another spot for another 2 little decals for the head. I think, yeah, this is going to be very head focused. And once the head's done, then they can just keep going on the body. But we've got quite a few decals on the body, so that's nothing to sneeze at. No circles on the head, but that's alright. And I think I could input 2 more small white decals on the V-fin, or the black V-fin, not the yellow V-fin. We'll see how we go. Though there's a lot of small decals, which not all of them are going to go on the head. Maybe, actually, I don't know. No, they won't. So we can at least, chuck 1 or 2 small ones on the body. We'll soak these. And while we wait, we'll chop all the small ones. We'll use them up. Fuck it. No. No stream. Still streaming? Yeah, we're still streaming. We still have internet. Well, if you don't have internet, it's just got to stop for some reason. Yeah, I still got internet. I just think my browser's crashed. Or the browser on the computer that I'm viewing my stream on. Not the browser that I've recording on. Okay, those are all there. The head's the head's really shiny tonight. Getting, yeah, those big decals where they went. I'm glad they got set aside for those spots. So yeah, 2 small ones for those little areas, 2 big ones, and the actual dome bit is covered, completely covered. There we go. We're back. That must have been a real crash, because that's taken out of all of my viewers, and it's just being so choppy. So do apologise. Not too sure what's going on there. I just hope it's that computer. See if we can sort it out the next time we're playing. But there's just not much that can be done at this stage. Have been at this for a while, almost 2 hours. But I'll know how much trouble it's had by how many times the footage has been chopped up. So if that's been a serious disconnect or not. Okay. These are some chopping up of small decals. These ones are probably going to be used on the V-fin. Some of these on the head. So many decals for the head. It's going to make the head look interesting. Seriously, I know I've said this a few times tonight, but just decals on the V-fin. I don't know why that excites me so much. We'll take the small ones. Oh, that's still decal? Yeah, that's still a decal. 2, 3, 4, 5. Chuck that back. That goes on the end here, but that's a wet decal now, so it's going to have to be used fairly soon. That sucks that I got that wet. Alright. That didn't transfer, that just went straight to my skin. Shit, a brick. No, transferred okay, but that's really wet, so it almost fell off like a drip. Alright, so unlock that. Okay. This little bastard's tricky. And she's in spot. Right there. Beautiful. That was really hard to do. And next one won't be too hard, and I'll need some more big decals for the rest of the tomahawk. So I'm not gonna, yeah, there's some serious big decalage going on. Alright. I'll put that there. Didn't transfer. Try again. Did transfer. This one's being far more helpful. Being close to the other decals, though the other night when I did this, I had a lot of decals being very close to a lot of decals. Trying to get the angle the same on the other side. Symmetrical, good, symmetrical. Now for the last two big decals, it's going on the very top of the dome. Come on. Wow, that's being troublesome. Yes. Okay. Cool, 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 cool. Yes, yes, yes. Oh yeah, well, that looks good. That works. That works. And there we go. It's riding all across the dome. One more. One more. We'll chuck a couple of small ones. The V-fin. And that will be it for the head. We'll get the two small ones because I wet one small one. And that applied beautifully. I just did a bunny hop and it just landed straight into space. Yes. Cool. Okay. Let's chuck 4 small decals in. 1, 2, 3, 4. For the face. 1, 2. Let's see how this works. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go for 6. Just really fill it out. We'll save 4 for the torso. Whee! As those soak, we can start chopping up the V-fin stuff, or at least 4 for the V-fin. I was a bit disappointed how the torso colouring and the head colouring came out, and thought, well, I'll do a little decals and see how I feel. And the decals, I think, just finally was that one little thing that just needed to make it pop. I think what's happened on the thrusters is a bit too bright. So I'm just going to chuck a spurt of smoke, and that will sort it out. I'm sure that will sort it out, so that's not a big deal. Cut. Chop this down the center, and then the knife can just chuck the rest. I got a feeling maybe all of these might be used for the V-fin. Just getting it right to have the blade pass through. And cut. Didn't slice any decals. Thank God. Alright, so let's see how these little bastards are going. And realistically, they should just slide into space. Alright. Right, that looks good. Next one. Cool. Other cheek. And turn the other cheek. And that went straight into a panel line. I just saved it. I don't use a lot of decals, which is a serious shame. I got to use more decals and more builds. Very time consuming, but they really just fill out the build. And some of my work that have decals on it are some of my favourite work. And that's because I've just got such a big decal library, I can be quite creative. Alright. So that can go there. There we go. Bloody novel. These little ones are just so easily falling into place, it's not funny. Okay, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Yeah. Drag that along. A bit too much water. It's pooling slightly, so the decal's free floating and will not stay still. Dabbing that bubble of water with a tissue has made it flat on the surface. Being a gloss surface, it just glides with the absolute minimalist amount of water, and there it's there. 2 more little decals to go. And it's a happy chappy. We should put a couple of decals on the back of the head, I suppose. That works there. Excellent. One more little decal on the head. No, I think I could put 2 more on the lower bits of the neck. Should I risk it? No, I'll save them for the torso, and the lower bit of the neck I will look for something else. Do not want to overdo it because decals can get lost, damaged or whatnot, and that would just be tragic. Come on, transfer, you bastard. Give it a little more water so it sticks a bit better. There we go. Cool. Cool. Very cool. Excess water, or is that a drip of paint? No, excess water. Cool. Yeah, I'm really happy. I suppose a small little decal could go there and there and there and there, but we'll save that for the next session. There's a lot that's been added to the face that needs to be sealed. So let's start getting some V-fin decal action going on. See how many we can chuck on comfortably. And when it stops getting comfortable, we probably won't be able to reach the very tips, come to think of it. So the last of the skinny ones we could just chuck somewhere on some awkward places on the torso. There are actually two decals I'm looking at that I would like to go on the awkward bits. So what I might do is just prepare them and separate them. Come on. It's nice getting pretty blunt, so I'm going to have to change the blade probably by the next session. I kind of want to go to the toilet. I'm hungry, I'm thirsty, I'm cranky. I'm going to take a 10-minute break after I apply these 4 decals. That actually might work out to my advantage, though. Things have frozen, and I don't really have much of a stream to talk about, so yeah, that could work. Well, that's disappointing. I've actually had some pretty good numbers tonight. But yeah, this face is just working in quite a choice manner. Oh, and that just slid beautifully. We'll slide that on to the number 2. Get your orientation on it. Wow, that was hard to do. But it looks interesting. It's almost very Banshee-ish looking. Scratch, scratch. Pick up. Doesn't want to transfer, so as usual, we will lubricate the V-fin slightly. Chuck that on. Come on, magnetize. Stick. Stay away from the fingernail. Okay, it needs to be wetter. What's going on? Oh, fuck! On the very edge. No. Yes. Stuck good. And then we flip it to the underside. should have done that first on the other side. Oh, it's problematic, and now it's not, now it is, and now it's sort of just conveniently fell into place. Let's check it's symmetrical. It is. Apply the next one. And then we'll do the other two on the V-fin. And we are absolutely laughing. This particular surface just does not want to track the decal for some reason. There we go. Need to get it a bit closer. Done. So we'll soak these four, and we'll chuck these on the V-fin. Two longish. Then after that, we've got 6. I've got a bit of polishing to do for the last remainder of the video. We'll turn it off, clear coat, and that would be done. So I reckon I might be here for another half hour or so. But that only leads us to a 2.5 hour stream. I was hoping to go for 4 hours or something. But no, I'd actually need to weather my tank a bit. I'll have a break, and I think I will try to stay longer. I might end the stream after half an hour, take a break, come back half an hour after that, and then keep going, but it's kind of really early in the morning, so maybe that might not be the case. Oh, thinking. So the 2 small ones I put on first, then the 2 big ones. This 6, polished, done. Yeah, we shall do that. Now, I am getting a bit tired. I've stayed up way too late. I should have started the stream so long ago, so I wanted to do a really long one. But it just did not work out that way, did it? Ugh. Oh, and I need to do a little more on my video. I'll finish my video tomorrow. The last of it Sunday, so I can edit it during the week and whatnot. It does take a bit of effort to release a video once a week. It's not so much it's a lot of work, it's planning and discipline. And I've just got to put a little bit of that discipline aside to do streaming. Though, what I probably should have done, though the last video was a airbrushy one, when I'm doing non-airbrushy ones, I could probably stream and video record at the same time. Okay, so this is a tricky Deco Work, not to fold in on itself, not to flip, not to scratch, not to damage. Probably should use some really long decals. That's alright. I think that's enough for the under decaling. And the over ones will go another one and another one again. And that should be it for the V-fin. That would be enough detail to capture it. Pull the decal tray out as to not damage the other decals. So maybe, just maybe, after this project, I'll hate decals and won't do it for a little while. Come on, you bastard! Wow, that's just being a pain. That's just not working at all. And yay! I've touched of stuff, just got a quick look, make sure I haven't disturbed anything, which I haven't. I've got far too many on the face to have I have far too many on the face that are wet and not sealed yet. No, no, what are you doing? I have far too many on the face wet to be reasonable to control. Make sure it's symmetrical, which it is. Cool. Get the other two down. And it only needs 2 more on the V-fin. Probably about 10 more on the head and it's done. So maybe the next session, I think I could get the head done. And the torso may need 2 more sessions. Come on. We're so close to being finished. Why are you being so difficult? Why do you not want to stick? Why do I want fucking decals on the V-fin? Ah, why no one puts decals on the V-fin? It's so hard to do. Okay, no. Put it there and then we'll slide. Yay! Okay, cool. Yeah, 1 more. And that is... Yeah, look, it was a pain, though. That was totally worth it. We got to do that again. We got to repeat it. Oh, there we go. Make sure it's nicely lubed up. Ah, we've got a new person. Hello, welcome to the stream. We are decaling the Master Grade Providence that has a gold candy coat on it and a lot of red decals. And I plan on putting like a master, version to Katoki amount of decals on him. So it's just going to be overly decaled. So that's the head done. The head is done for the night. No more decals. We'll do a few more on the torso. Let's have a quick study because put a lot of decals on the torso and I don't want to ruin any. So I know where I'm going to put 2 small ones. I know where I can put 2 big ones, and I know I can put another 2 small ones. So that's all figured out. We will wet the 4 small ones, and they're going to go where there's existing circles. So that's going to look cool. It'll be like 2 decals on top of each other. It'll look like a bunch of writing that has been circled. So it's going to be far more intense than the original is, because the circle's not standing out. Small decals are not standing out, but the small decals with the circle around it is going to look pretty interesting. Ah, fuck. But that's like decals and decals and decals. I suppose anyone that's not happy with my pronunciation of decals is going to find this stream an absolute fucking nightmare. Or hilarious, one of those two. And these long pieces, I exactly know where they're going to go. They're going to go in a very, very tricky bit. I'll try to wake up at a decent time tomorrow. Get everything done nice and quick. Jump on Twitch and stream longer. See, I'm feeling tired. Now I think I need to put together a list of the things I need to do tomorrow. So, airbrush thrusters. Come on, work. And I've got some letters here which I could probably use next time, tomorrow. And put them on the side somewhere. Or not. Who cares? So yeah, there's two spots where small ones can go. Thought that was the knife before. Yeah, I'm definitely tired. Okay, that slid nicely. Put a bit of water. Yes. Actually, no, that was a good place to put it. Yes, circling the little text is just absolutely perfect. It's a lot of work, so it really stands out. Okay. Right, that's not transferring, so we lubricate it further. And with the extra lubrication, I normally just chuck my finger in water and just dab it on top of the surface. Beautiful. No, I didn't touch anything. Cool. Everything that's meant to be there is there. Nothing's moved. Nothing's fallen off. Two more little ones to go. Oh, that's a hard to reach area. And it's there. That's a big area, and I put a circle there. And it just doesn't stand out for nuts. As that's been chucked there, looks a tad better. Last small one. Oh, and it just went right in. Good decal. Good decal indeed, even though it's not really like a dog or anything. Excellent. Okay. So we've got a tricky to get to spot now. Oh, yes. And that is skinnier than I thought, so... Actually, no, it's skinnier than I thought because it landed on the wrong surface. So that means I can put a lot more there. More stupid, small, difficult to place decals. Okay. Excellency. Last one for the night. And it's transferred on a good note. Excellent. So, touch that up. Touch that up. Got slightly crooked, so we remove that. Just. And there we go. That's worked out very, very well. It's got to darken those white ones a bit, so it looks like it's a smoke grey decal. And that is just, yeah, that's a lot of put that up there like fuck. That almost ended badly. Okay, so that's all together. I can tip out my water. Put a bit in the wastewater. Cool. Oh. I need to quickly film. Something. Where did I put my masking tape? I put it away, didn't I? Well, I'll get my camera out and I need to film putting masking tape on this surface, which is sufficiently dried. And then I'm going to put some coat on it tomorrow and film myself lifting it, put it together, scratch it, talk about it, and that's a done video. The red's kind of bleeding through, which is shit. It is what it is. My legs are falling asleep. That was a long session. Normally I stand up and sit down and stand up and sit down. Quite active. So to sit down and just encase an audience is a little different. Okay. So got a camera here. And it's like conquering my get this in shot. Pre-cut the masking tape. Oh, actually, I should do that in shot. Oh, I got two cameras now. I got too many things to have in shot. And now it's ugly for the stream, but it's good for the YouTube channel. YouTube's always got a bit of a priority because it's where my main mission is. So I'm going to record, and this is an audio only gig, so that's alright. Place that down, and rub it down, and tomorrow I'll spray a different surface or something. Cool, that's done. Clear coating time, I guess. I'll probably do the smoke first. Anywho, thank you for watching. This concludes the stream of almost 2.5 hours. I feel like I'm going to sneeze. Wasn't going to do that on stream. That's alright. Catch you guys next time. Thank you for watching. Thank you if you've watched the whole thing on YouTube. And sayonara.